Okay, we're good. Go ahead.
I'm Jimmy Holt, County Ranger in Guilford County with the North Carolina Forestry Service, acting PIO on the Sauratown Mountain fire.
I guess to start with, really just give us a rundown of where we're at right now, 8 a.m. Monday.
Well, the fire was called out on the 18th around 7:30 at nighttime. It was estimated to be about 2 to 4 acres in size. Yesterday, the fire was estimated to be at 60 acres. Overnight, the fire was burning very actively with flame lengths 4 to 6 feet last night. It was aggressively backing down the hill. Right now, we estimate the fire around 150 acres, and that would be a conservative estimate.
You were showing us on that, the red outline there is the fire. That's not accurate to right now, is it? Can you run us through that?
That's correct. The map is not correct. The map was made yesterday afternoon. Since then, we've sort of drawn some markings in here where the fire has grown to overnight. It has backed aggressively down to the south, and it is also did cross our fire line last night during the process of switching out day ops with night ops. The fire spotted across the line, and it's progressed right in here below Sauratown Mountain Road.
Is it expanding in all directions, or is there one direction off the mountain that you're most worried about?
It has grown in most directions. Our priority yesterday and again today will be protecting the houses and the communication infrastructure around Sauratown Mountain Road. Yesterday during the day sometime, the mountaintop youth camp was evacuated. There were around 50 children that were there. They were all safely removed from the camp. There are no residents currently at Haynes Camp, but the fire is approaching the Haynes Camp as well as a mountaintop camp. We are utilizing structural firefighters with their engines are down on Haynes Camp, as well as the mountaintop youth camp, as well as we have engines all along Sauratown Mountain Road protecting those homes.
How many people have been evacuated so far?
There were roughly around 12 structures or homes that were evacuated last night, and that was Stokes County Emergency Management that handled the evacuation process.
Were those evacuations mandatory, urged, or advised?
They were advised.
Okay.
They did go, EM did go door to door and advised people to leave.
And how many people, homes, or businesses did you say were evacuated again?
Roughly about 12 homes were evacuated along with the mountaintop youth camp.
Okay. Is any of the fire contained at all?
There's very little containment on the fire at this time. Aviation will be arriving very shortly. We had 3 fixed wing North Carolina Forestry Service planes on the fire making water drops, as well as 2 helicopters making water drops. They will be here working and coordinating with the firefighters on the ground as well. Night ops did come down off the mountain recently. Our day shift has gone back up, and they will be assessing the structures along Sauratown Mountain Road, as well as the 2 camps and the structures up here as well.
So are you expecting more evacuations today?
I don't really have any additional information on evacuations at this time. I can tell you that crews were doing firing operations around these structures throughout the night. They will continue to do so this morning, consuming the dead fuel around the houses. We also had crews doing structural triage. What that is going in around those homes and removing all flammable material, most of it natural material like wood piles or pine needles or flashy, brushy material around those houses, along with the firing operations to create good, solid, defensible spaces around those homes.
And I'm sure you said this, what sort of resources have you guys had to get for this? And have you guys had to reach out to other neighboring departments to get help?
Well, there are quite a few fire departments, probably 6 to 7 fire departments in the area that are supporting us with structural protection and water delivery at this time. We do have crews from out of state. We have crews from Washington State, from Oregon, Utah, and Montana as well.
What's the coordination with them been like? I imagine they're obviously very ready and willing to help.
Yeah, absolutely. These folks have been out fighting fire in rocky, rugged country in the western part of the country throughout the summertime. They're very used to this type of ground. that we have here, and they are some of the best firefighters in the country that we have right here, right now.
And how many acres are we talking about again right now?
Roughly 150 acres, yeah, and that would be a conservative estimate.
Any injuries so far?
No injuries or no loss or damages to any structures at this time.
Let's talk weather. I know, overheard in the briefing you were talking about the weather forecast for today. Weather forecast tomorrow also right now is pretty strong for rain.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that's really going to help you guys out if that
Absolutely, if that does occur, and we're hoping for as much rain as possible and for the duration of it to continue as much as possible. That's what's in our favor right now, is the rain that is coming tomorrow.
And then wind as well. Is the wind playing in your favor today, or is it going to be?
Wind's going to be a little tougher today than what it was yesterday. We had very low humidity yesterday. Humidity will be a factor again today, probably in the low 30%, and winds will come out of the northeast. So it's going to be a challenge today. Yesterday was a very, very tough day we had on the mountain, and today is going to be another tough day.
So would you say, like right now we're kind of cold, would you say like the moist from the ground was making it continue to spread, or how is that?
Well, usually fire lays down at nighttime when humidity goes up, cooler temperatures set in, and wind lays down. Usually fire will lay down. Last night it continued to burn actively and back downhill fairly actively. So just due to the very, very dry conditions we're in, the fire behavior has been extreme. As the day progresses, when it gets hotter and drier, you will see the fire pick up significantly.
Have you had any issues with like citizens trying to like get too close and get video of the fire, or do you have anything to say to people?
Aviation, when they arrived on scene, they did implement a TFR, temporary flight restrictions. That's become an issue in recent years with private drone use on fires. It's very, very dangerous. If there's a private drone on the fire, our aviation has to sit down on the ground. That's going to endanger homes. That's going to endanger firefighters as well. But currently, since yesterday, Sauratown Mountain Road has been closed to just local and fire traffic to keep onlookers away.
And a message to, I mean, there's like a gas station like right across the street. I mean, a message to like the residents and families in this nearby area. I mean, they're kind of close to that mountain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're just urging people to not burn. You know, conditions are very dry right now and have been very dry. We're urging people not to burn so we don't have any other issues, with escape fire.
Thinking of what if there's one goal for your crews by, let's say, sundown today. Full containment, partial containment. What do you think? If there's one thing you can accomplish, what do you want it to be?
Well, number one is firefighter and civilian safety, and then structural protection is what our priorities are right now.
And so far, there have been no injuries?
No injuries. No, there have not.
How many firefighters do you expect? I know you mentioned the several different departments. How many firefighters?
Yeah, roughly we had a lot of incoming firefighters yesterday, and rangers and foresters coming in from across the state. Also, volunteer fire departments lending assistance in the area as well. We probably had upwards of 60 people that were tied to this incident yesterday. Probably pushing 100 or more today.
And you said you had volunteer fire department help, but what about government assistance? I believe the Biden administration had did something with fire departments to kind of help them in situations like this to get funding if they need to rebuild.
Well, the funding has been fairly good for most departments since 9/11, and that's something I'm not with the fire service, so that's nothing I can really speak on exactly. This is a state incident at this time. The North Carolina Forest Service has incident command on this. It's not a FEMA situation, so right now there's no federal aid at this time.
I know I asked earlier about the rain and whatnot. Even if tomorrow is raining a lot, we shouldn't expect to see the rains. It's going to be the rain and the firefighters are going to both kind of team up and help make this go away a little faster, right?
Right. We typically, we fight fire very aggressively during the daytime. At nighttime, the night operations is a much more scaled down crew. We probably had 8 to 10 people on night operations last night. It's more of an observation, monitoring, and like I said, they did do some firing operations around the structures to improve defensible space there as well.
I guess the last thing that I personally can think of, I don't know about this, but best guess on a timetable.
Yeah, it's just hard to say right now. I don't think the rain is going to put it to bed completely. It'll give firefighters a chance to. We probably won't be aggressively engaging the fire in a downpour because slip, trips, and falls are an issue. Gusty winds are also going to come in with those rains as well, and you want to be careful of falling and burning debris. We call them burning snags, trees that fall across the lines, roll down the hill, cross fire lines, ignite material, and that can potentially run back uphill. So we probably won't have firefighters directly engaged tomorrow during the rain event, but throughout that and towards the end of the rain event, we will be reassessing. No one's going to go home until this fire is over. So that'll give us a chance to really, after the rain comes and goes, that'll give us a chance to really get in here and hammer away at the fire directly.
And when you said very little contained, there's not a percentage on that.
There was a power line right of way that runs right along here. The night of the fire, we sent one of our tractor plow units to establish fire line all the way up to the ridge and over. Our plan was to hopefully hold the fire on that line right there. The fire, whether it be a burning snag or spot fires that crossed over, we were not able to contain the fire there. So right now we have very little containment.
And is the air quality safe? I mean, I guess the wind is kind of pushing the smoke that way, but is air quality?
Well, the wind will switch around some today. There are areas that will be impacted by the smoke. Typically, during the inversion time period, early in the morning, late at nighttime, the smoke is going to be worse. That's when it typically collapses. As the day gets hotter and drier, your inversion lifts, and then the smoke will tend to go more up and out. Yep.
So I came back a little more. You worked the Pilot Mountain fire a few years ago. I believe it was 2021.
21, around the same time of year.
How does this compare?
The Pilot Mountain fire, due to it's the last time we had fire on Pilot Mountain before 21 was, I believe, 2012, and we had good fire lines around the base of the mountain. All we had to do really was go in and reopen those fire lines with dozers and basically provide structure protection on Pilot Mountain for the infrastructure there, and we did firing operations and brought the fire all the way down to the dozer line. Because of that fire, it was much easier to contain. Part of this fire is in the burn scar from 2008 in March, but due to dry conditions, its containment's been very, very challenging at this point. And leaf fall, by the way, we are still well into leaf fall. The leaves provide beautiful color for North Carolina this time of year and earlier in the season, but during a bad fire season, leaf fall is not our friend because we have to constantly, even if we have the fire fully contained, you have to go in throughout the day and blow those lines out with leaf blowers because the leaf fall will come down, cause reburn, and provide a method of transportation for the fire to cross the containment lines.
Could it spread to a nearby mountain? I mean, is that a possibility?
Well, yeah, it has spread significantly, throughout the night. It's kind of through that saddle and crossed over to the other ridge line, so it is progressing at this time. But we have crews, once again, up here engaged right now, coming up with a plan to utilize tractor plow units with dozers possibly in here. Once the terrain gets too steep, the dozers cannot go forward, but we will probably utilize hand crews to bring hand line down to tie in to the dozer line, as well as scouting out this area over here, looking for potential dozer line and hand line opportunities in this area right here. So those folks are getting a plan together as we speak.
And when you say dozing the land, so they're like digging switches to try to?
Well, the tractor plow unit has got two options. It's got a blade on the front and it's got a plow on the back. The blade is a little less impact. We like to use the blade when possible, just a less overall footprint and impact to the environment. Because the blade, they can kind of skim along the line. The plow unit goes much deeper, but it really digs down into mineral soil, and that's what we have to get to when it's this dry right now.
We all look good. Before we wrap up, is there anything super important that you think we might have forgotten to ask about, or you would like to add?
I mentioned as far as, we're just encouraging people to please not to do any kind of outside burning at this time, until conditions dramatically improve. And it's going to take more than one rain. It's going to take a change in the weather pattern to really end this fire season.
And it's unknown how that fire started.
We do not know at this time. Yeah, our priority right now is suppression, and then we have a law enforcement branch that will handle cause and origin, investigation, and law enforcement if necessary.
And just for one more time, can I get you to say and spell your name for me and your title? Just to make sure we got it.
Jimmy Holt, Jimmyholt.
And your title?
County Ranger in Guilford County with the North Carolina Forestry Service, and I am acting as a PIO on the Sauratown Mountain Fire.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right, thank you guys. Maybe I'll have some more, maybe around 1 o'clock today, and then again, usually around, our crews come down around 7 o'clock at nighttime and kind of brief they'll brief us, and then the night ops will go back up the mountain around 7 or 7:30 tonight.
That should all be still in this command center area here.
Yeah, we'll be, yep. So far,
like a
yep.
midday and then a...
Yep, things are always subject to change, but as far as now, as far as I know, sure.
And then I'll have you slip that.
Okay, yep.
Thank you so much for your time
Okay,
and
absolutely.
being patient with us on all
Yeah,
that.
you guys have
Do you
been
think
very
it was
nice,
maybe
thank you.
environmental?
So sitting here, are we going to be able to see the air ops?
Oh yes, oh yeah.
We'll
Yep,
see them.
yep.
We'll see some drops.
Yeah,
or whatnot?
oh absolutely, yep. You'll have a
keep an
good
eye on
show,
that.
yep.
Or do you think it could have been like maybe
You can post
scar
up on
from
your-
From the
pilot
I'll
that
hand
could have
you-
sparked it?
well,
I'll hand
it
you,
probably wasn't anything.